Hey guys, Troy from the space. I am here with Seamus from Boldacious Digital. So stoked to have you here again, Seamus.
Thank you. Yeah.
So this is part 2 of a series that we're doing on security. You may have been fortunate enough to see the first one. If you haven't, I suggest jump back and check it out. We did a masterclass on password managers, which was really informative. We got some fantastic feedback on that, so thank you for taking the time to do that, Seamus. Made something that was new and somewhat ambiguous really clear. And part of this series is, helping people to embrace technology, new applications, tech that's essentially designed to help make our life easier as founders and innovators. But fundamentally, there generally is a little learning curve. So what Seamus does to a large extent is help you to really quickly move beyond that learning curve, and so you can have the benefits of the latest of these technologies. So today we're going to talk around two-factor authentication. Got the word out.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, it is a mouthful. Okay, so two-factor authentication is the second really essential part. So password manager is number 1, two-factor authentication is number 2.
Cool.
And basically two-factor authentication is involving you knowing something and you having something. So you've got 2 ways. And a classic example of that is if you go to an ATM, you have your credit card and you know your password. So you've got those 2 things, and you can only get in if you have something and you know something.
Cool.
But it works exactly the same way with websites. So you have your password, but then you have your phone, and it has it has a thing called an authentication thing, which is, well, you don't really need to know what it is. The easiest way is for me to show you how it works.
Cool.
And I should say one thing. Last August, Facebook was hacked into, and they exposed nearly 50 million users. Now, no one's quite sure exactly how dangerous that was, if they got into passwords or not, and I don't know. I don't know enough about it. But Facebook did actually recommend that you change your password. If you'd had password management, if you'd had two-factor authentication enabled on Facebook, which you can do, you would have been absolutely safe, because they can't get in without that.
I know some sites are actually making it mandatory. I know Xero's, you
Yes,
have to have,
yes.
have to have it enabled, and they're using two-factor authentication. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's other sites that I use it for, like I think CoinSpot is one that I use for my crypto wallets.
Yeah.
Yep.
So probably the best thing is if I share my screen.
Cool.
Now, so I'm just going to share this. And because this involves using your phone, I'm just going to, I've got my phone here on the side. We'll just click the browser here so that we can see both things. So the first thing you need to do is get a thing called an Authenticator app. And the 2 major ones are called Google Authenticator over here on the browser, and Authy. I use Google Authenticator. It's really, really easy. I think it's the most popular one. But basically, you go to the App Store or Google Play, you download it, and you follow the prompts. And that's easy. And once that's there, it's there. So if I touch on my phone now, I go to the Authenticator app. I just click it, and it gives me these 6-digit numbers, and you see the little clock here, that changes every 30 seconds. So these numbers continually change. And I should say one thing for people who are living remotely, these Authenticator apps still work if you've got no mobile connection.
Yeah, wow.
Which is something worth knowing about. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just using this example here. I'll close that for a minute, just because it's simple and I know that I haven't got two-factor authentication set up. But basically, you go to your settings in pretty much any website you've got, and you look for security.
So
And
using
you'll see,
Zapier obviously as an example here.
just as an example here, because I know this one is not set up with the two-factor authentication. So once you find this, and it's similar in every site, you'll find that in Facebook, for instance, it's in settings and then security and login, and you scroll down here to use two-factor authentication. And you really do just follow the prompts. So I'm going to say click enable, and we'll assume that we've downloaded the Google Authenticator or Authy onto our phone.
Yep.
I'll click next step. And what happens, this QR code comes up. And then what I need to do is I get my phone, and this is for a new site, and I click on the little plus sign, and it will say scan a barcode. And I scan the barcode, and I just point the camera at that QR code, and quicker than you can think, it pops up and it's saved it. So if I scroll down here now, you'll see that bottom one, Zapier, Grey Gypsy 47+cd@gmail.com. The first time I do it, I've got to tell them that I've scanned it and I've got these magic numbers, which are on this one are 953487. It's not typing in there. Now I'm actually going to, because that little clock is nearly closed, I'm going to wait till they change. So we've got 734121. Next step. Okay. So it's done that. It's saved that. Now, because you've done this, if you happen to lose your phone, you can't get into your site. So what they do is they give you 10 codes you can use once. So you really need to download them. It'll download them into a recovery-codes.txt file and keep them somewhere safe so that if you lose your phone or you just can't get in, you can use the recovery codes to get in. And again, it's just a fail-safe backup.
So worst case scenario, hey, I lose those 10 codes and I lose my phone. Does that mean I'm locked out of my site forever?
It depends on the site. Zapier, for instance, will lock you out forever. A lot of other sites won't. You can get the administrator of the site to refresh the code for you. So if you log into a WordPress site and you should be using two-factor authentication, then the administrator of the site can set you up with a new code.
Gotcha.
So, but it's still really important to keep those recovery codes and keep them named differently, because if you've got a few, they're all called recoverycodes.txt. So you want to name them, you know, Zapier recoverycodes.txt.
Wow, okay. It's important.
Then we click, it is very important. So, and Zapier are very, what do you call it? They're really
strict.
Strict is the word, yeah. And so you need to do the recovery code. So I've just opened that in another window. I think this is a recovery code. No, it's not. Bloody hell. I'm just going to copy one of these codes here. So I've copied them.
I love your expression, how it's written all over your face.
Yes, yes. And normally it's a lot easier.
There we go.
So, yeah, so then you've got an emergency one. So Zapier is really, really strict. A lot of them aren't as strict as this.
So it seems like a lot of work though, like, and to have your phone there, and the risk, you know, is the risk of losing your phone and being locked out of your site greater than the risk of someone hacking into your Zapier? Like, what sites do you really need to put this on? You know, it seems like a lot of work. So we've got the password manager, that's seemingly quite secure. And now we've got this two-factor authentication. It seems like a lot. Well,
yes, it does, but all the security experts say that this is the safest way you can be, and everyone does recommend it. And the reason that people like Xero, for instance, are forcing that to happen is because they recognise the security issues.
Yeah, okay. I appreciate it. I know there's definitely, because I've had it on, I had it on my Google, and it was just like a pain in the butt. So I turned it off. So I just wondered, I know for certain sites it's important. Like, do you have it for all of your sites, Seamus?
I do now. That's because I read these, like I'm not a security expert. I read the experts, what they say, and they're saying that this is really important.
Yeah, okay.
So I do this. And we should be aware that I've now finished the setup for Zapier. And once you've set it up, so if I log out of here now, and I want to log back in again.
You're going to need the code.
Yep, so it says, what's your authentication code? And I just go to my phone, and you can see there on the phone, it's 882. You always put the mouse in the field. 882 883. Confirm.
And voila.
And I'm logged in.
Yeah.
And it really is a worthwhile practice to get into, a worthwhile habit to get into, even though it may seem a pain. I certainly do it on the Google Docs now. I do it on anything that's got it. And you can do some things. Don't check, on some sites will say, don't check this for 30 days if I'm on the same computer.
Yeah, even Xero does that.
Yeah, and you just tick that little box, so then only once a month will you have to do it, but it still means if someone logs in on another computer, you're safe.
Yeah, cool. So ultimate security, password manager, and two-factor authentication.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's pretty much that simple, and that's most sites have that as part of their security.
Not all sites do. I say that if they've got it, use it.
Do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it's a new thing to learn, so it seems like a lot of extra work, but once you start using it a little bit, it's almost second nature. And you've always got your phone with you. Well, you know, most people do. So
yeah,
I do highly recommend it, even though it is a bit of a pain, or can be.
Well, that's made it simple to set up, mate. I really appreciate your taking the time to come and share that with us. If people have got further questions, I know you do have a complimentary initial consultation with you, so people can take advantage of that. We'll post the links to that in the comments below. Any other comments before we sign off for today?
No, just security is far more important than we think, and just because you haven't been hacked yet doesn't mean you're not going to be. Yes, I can't highly recommend it that people do these two measures.
Yeah, okay. That's cool. You've inspired me. So I've got it on my Xero for sure. Yes. And it is simple to set up. Once you've got it set up, it's just then a matter of, you know, like, I guess you decide you're on the gauntlet. This is what ultimate security looks like. It's up to you individually to choose if you're going to go to this link. So I know I'm 100% going to get my password manager set up and secured. Probably for me, select sites, I'll use the password authentication. And
Xero is a good example because you really don't want anyone getting into your Xero account.
Yeah, and obviously, do banks have it as well? Banks would have it, yeah.
They've got different things. Banks actually are really behind the times.
Funny that.
Yes. So a lot of them haven't got good authentication. Some do, some don't.
Okay.
Generally speaking, they're terrible.
All right. Well, it's probably a conversation with you directly. All right, mate. I'm going to sign off for now. Appreciate you taking the time to come and share that with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.